Do you know what these two pieces of music have in common? Well, let me explain. 20 years ago, My Chemical Romance dropped what became an icon of 2000s emo, The Black Parade. A fully realized rock opera, the album has been compared to Queen's A Night at the Opera from 1975 and the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band from 1967. But what if I told you this mid-2000s album isn't just an emo version of albums that came from the 60s and 70s, but from a movement that dates all the way back to Beethoven? So what does the Black Parade have to do with the 19th century? The answer? Romanticism. Romanticism was an artistic and intellectual movement that peaked throughout the Western world from 1800 to 1850. You probably recognize some of its heavy hitters. Lots of common ideas and concepts we take for granted today likely come from this period. Things like emotions overwhelming reason, burning passion, etc. come from the Romantics. It's not hard to see these ideas in My Chemical Romance's melodramatic lyrics, like, and it's really dark romanticism that shines here, to be specific. Dark Romanticism was an offshoot of Romanticism, with the literary subgenre centered around everything from death to the supernatural. At its core, The Black Parade is that, but with a bittersweet twist. An album about a man dying, with death taking on the form of a parade the man attended as a child. Here's lead singer Gerard Way speaking on the album's premise around the time of its release.
Death comes for you however you want. It's your strongest memory. And for this particular character in this record called The Patient, his strongest memory is of being a child and his father is taking them to this parade. So when death comes for him, it comes in the form of a black parade.
Along with similarities in themes, Romanticism and The Black Parade also share a connection musically. Romantic-era composers focused on concepts like the sublime, an overwhelming grandeur, and emotional nature. With the Romantic movement, classical music was all about the fanfare, bigger and more emotional and dramatic. Orchestras grew in size, as well as incorporated unconventional instruments, like a cannon. That fanfare, minus the cannons, is what makes Welcome to the Black Parade such a standout. The orchestral swoops, the military drums, it fits right in alongside a Romantic-era piece like 1812 Overture, something that a music composition and arranging teacher picked up on in an Instagram video last year.
Name this tune. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. 1812 Overture. Oh, I was actually doing Welcome to the Black Parade. It does sound like it. You think they did that on purpose? Yeah, probably.
Ultimately, Romanticists emphasize the value of embracing feelings and personal emotions over rational thinking. And it wasn't captured any better than from the poets of that time. Whether it was William Blake's The French Revolution, highlighting the frustration of oppressed people, or showing loss and insanity like Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, a standout example of dark romanticism. Okay, but saying an emo album from the 2000s is a part of this movement is a bit of a stretch, right? Well, let's take a pop quiz. Lucia, long time no see. How's it going?
Hello.
I challenged my co-host Lucia to a game. So we're gonna play a game here.
Oh,
Are you down for that?
Let's do it.
Can you tell the difference between a Romantic-era poem and a My Chemical Romance lyric? Play along and see how well you do. Okay, first one. And I have to get into my poetic reading, if you know what. Yeah.
Get into it.
So, okay. It says, don't you breathe for me, undeserving of your sympathy. 'cause there ain't no way that I'm sorry for what I did. And through it all, how could you cry for me? 'Cause I don't feel bad about it. So shut your eyes and kiss me goodbye.
I think that's a lyric. My Chemical Romance.
Final answer?
Final answer, yes.
Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality.
That's pretty dark. I'm going to say that's a My Chemical Romance lyric just because the part where it says immortality sounds pretty musical.
This one actually is a romantic poem.
Oh, snap.
To unexplain the unforgivable, drain all the blood and give the kids a show. By streetlight, this dark night, a seance down below.
I would say this is a romantic poem. Yes, romantic poem. That's my final answer.
Final answer. This is My Chemical Romance. This is MCR. This is My Chemical Romance.
Whoa.
So it isn't hard to see the connection between these ideas and that of dark eyeliner teens of the 2000s. There's similarities in visuals too, like in My Chemical Romance's distinct black parade uniforms, most notably the military-style black ornamental coat. It's hard not to think about romantic-era paintings like this one. Even the album's vinyl artwork looks like some sort of emo punk descendant of paintings like this. Then there's the music videos. In My Chemical Romance's famous last words, darkness and fire surrounds the band as they perform. Looks a lot like Battle of Paoli by Xavier Delegata, in which a nighttime battle occurs with riflemen surrounded by fire and smoke. Romanticism was shaped by three revolutions: the American, French, and Industrial revolutions. The first two showed that emotions like righteous anger had real-world political power as people fought for freedom and equality and craved expression and individuality. The third, with its focus on mechanized production and urban development, would be something romanticists rejected, instead favoring nature and untamed landscapes, a nostalgia for a past world. Of course, My Chemical Romance, and by extension, emo, weren't the first to heavily channel the themes and visuals of Romanticism. A handful of gothic rock acts of the late 70s, from Susie and the Banshees to The Cure, both of whom can count MCR's members as fans, articulated the literary flourishes of dark romanticism in their lyrics. To this day, Romanticism continues to influence and reemerge in different ways, beyond My Chemical Romance. For example, Lana Del Rey's career centers a romanticized nostalgia, a nostalgia for a pre-digital age rather than a pre-industrial one. Fun fact, her music video for Born to Die was filmed at France's Palace of Fontainebleau. Similarly, Romantic-era Italian composer Giuseppe Verdi set one of the scenes in his opera, Don Carlos, in Fontainebleau Forest. There's also Wuthering Heights, the Emily Bronte novel that is being reimagined once again on the big screen, and the accompanying album by Charlie XCX. And seminal romantic works still continue to be reborn in the modern day, like new adaptations of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Bram Stoker's Dracula. Nevertheless, whether it's feature films revisiting the Romantic era or a defining emo band, Romanticism will continue to carry on.